that fresh pot.
Welcome back, beautiful souls. This is Soldier of Light reporting for duty, and we have our usual roundtable discussion today. We have Dennis, Mr. King of Cups. Welcome, sir. Welcome. How are you doing today? Oh, he's frozen already. Look at
Are you kidding?
that. Jay Rocco, Mr. Jay Rocco. How are you doing, sir?
Doing well, doing well.
All right. And I also have with me again my teacher, Min Chow. For some of you guys who may not know her from the
Hi,
maybe
Dennis.
last time you didn't pay, you didn't tune in last time. This is my teacher. Her name is Min Chow Craig, and she kind of is the one that kind of got me started in this whole journey of even about healing itself. So it's funny, we were talking recently about we just kind of have conversations throughout different throughout the day or evening whenever she comes back in, and besides the conversations my wife and I have, and we're talking about just energy and healing in general, and about how we've gotten to this point. And I was honestly, that's why she's like, well, what is the show going to be called, or what are you going to call the show this week? And I said, I have no idea yet. I said, I'll ask Spirit to see what they give me, and then see what they go with what that's how I usually come up with the ideas for the show every week, is whatever I get from Spirit. That's how I get the little thumbnail I make to kind of correlate with kind of what the theme of what we're going. And today, all I got today was healing, because I feel like a lot of people are really want to heal. There's a lot of things that they're trying to grow from, and I feel like I feel very strongly with Spirit, even when I do a lot of readings and things for people. A lot of the common themes that I'm seeing is people have to begin to heal themselves, and it starts with, like I said, just self-love. And I feel like that was something that Spirit told me that we need to really talk about. We've talked about some of these things through multiple shows in different ways, but I feel like the focus is kind of, we want to refocus that energy. I feel with the healing, and I feel like there's a lot of different versions of healing. But I feel like the first thing for me is I started to heal and get the aha moments is when I literally stopped caring about what other people thought of me, what I even honestly about what I used to think about myself. And honestly, it came back to just me being confident and loving myself again. And I feel like once that kind of started to happen and started to love myself, I started to think
Maybe it's
differently.
me.
Yeah, Dennis, you're freezing again.
You're
See,
frozen, but we can hear you.
we can hear you beautifully, man. You just got that frozen. Looks like someone painted you, man.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, see, that's what always happens. Always with this channel, and honestly, there wouldn't be any other channel unless we had some type of technical difficulty or glitches.
You're
So,
back, Dennis. You're back.
see, I don't see Dennis. I just see him frozen.
He moved for a minute. That's it. Just keep rolling. I think he can hear us. Okay. He'll chime in. He'll chime in.
So we wanted to talk. So he's going to jump back out. So that's all right. He'll jump back in. So as we're kind of going through this, and I feel like that's where I wanted to kind of just start off with the love, is starting to love yourself. And I know, Laura, you have a question, is how do you heal a past life trauma if you don't know what the trauma was in your past lives? And then if it's a stupid question, there's no such thing as a stupid question. And that's what the one thing I want. See, that comes back to the ego jumping in. I hope it's not a stupid question. I hope people don't think that question was gonna look down on me for that. That comes back to the ego. That was a perfect segue for me into the segment. Is because you're already afraid to even speak. You're already coming from a place of fear and doubt.
We've been there.
That tells me right there that there are some self-esteem things that have carried on, not only from this lifetime, but I feel from others. And I feel like that's where it comes back to healing traumas. That starts back to just loving yourself. It doesn't matter if it's a past life trauma or if it's this life trauma. It's the same process. You have to come back to releasing things. Things that bother you, triggers. There's a reason why those are triggers for you, because there's something inside of you energetically that is still attached, or there's some type of energetic connection that needs to be broken. So that's where I feel like like when it comes to these things, that's what I feel. A lot of these, it starts with just starting to love yourself, calm your mind. That just, even if that doesn't, it just means just trying something a little different than you usually do, changing what you do. That reprograms things, brings it back into your heart center. Slow your breathing down. That's where it starts. You have to slow your mind. Because once you slow your mind, then everything else literally will start to come into alignment. If our mind is racing, spirit is, they come with a lot of energy too. And if you're all over the place, it's hard for them to connect with you as much when you're not in a nice centered place to be able to receive that message. And I'll kind of pass it over to Min Chow first, and then we'll go over to you, Mr. J, and I'll bring Dennis back in. Looks like he's back in the mix now. What are your thoughts?
My ego was getting uppity. I had to put it away.
What happened? He's back. Okay.
He's back now. What are your thoughts on that, Min Chow?
Well, the what do you call it? Healing is a broad, subject, and although I believe a lot of problem and trauma that we have usually come from other lifetime. So therefore, when I have my student, and I would love to teach them how to remove the trauma and hassle that all the negativity that come with the babies, when they're born. Gradually, we can remove a lot of them because they brought with them without knowing. We didn't know about it, but now that I knew that, so I went through a lot of experience with a lot of young children, so to help them to remove things for the baby, so to help them, live easier than we had to go through our lifetime. And healing is what it means to be healed. When you feel better, when you feel that okay, I feel I'm healed. I feel that I feel better and I'm hungry, want to eat. That the first sign that you feel that you're totally healed. But that if your physical body, see, when you get sick, you go to doctor and they give you a prescription to buy something for yourself, and you feel better. That's part of the healing. But we all had the healing gift without knowing that we do. For instance, a child get hurt. What will parents do? They will come and hug the child and kiss the pain, with the play with feel pains and hug them and comfort them, and they feel better. That form of healing, like a husband and wife, a boyfriend and girlfriend, they hug each other and comfort each other when you go through the problem that you couldn't do by yourself, and that's a form of healing. But and then to go further, we want to heal others. That in China they learn qigong to heal others, but then they use that strength. They've been trained for years to use the energy and come in from their inner self, and they heal the person. Unfortunately, when they get sick, they don't feel good, and they can't do it. You see, so rather we just learn how to tap into the higher energy from us, to help us to heal others. Because even when we get sick, we don't feel good because energy doesn't come from us, but we channel the energy from the above that comes through us to heal others. But that's not from us, but from them to give it to us.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very careful to tell my students. Sometimes, a lot of times they take the money, when they start to make the money and they feel that they heal others, they feel that no, it's not there. That we borrow from other divine, other energy to give it to us. So a lot of time, like sometimes they'll go to the doctor and they have surgery and you feel better. But then deep down inside, you don't feel better because sometimes it go further on spirituality that you need. Some of the spirit coming to you or some wrong entity interfere with your life. And until you're able to remove that entity, you still don't feel better. So that's what we're talking about, right? Using high energy to help us. We're talking about first we need to love ourselves, just like Jason said. Even I gone through that, I understand that, but I still feel you call it when you get the message to write the book, and I feel that, wait a minute, I had doubt to myself, and I said, no, wait a minute, why me? Why not other? What do I do? How can I write it by myself? That's impossible. I don't know much about the thing. So the energy, they told me, do you think you write by yourself? I tried to laugh, and truly honest, a lot of time I stuck, really, you write for about one sentence, and then you sit there for a day couldn't find any other word to come through you. So then you have to channel them, and they send the energy through you. And sometimes they give me certain words, and I think, what the heck? Why this word? For what? Why you give me certain words? I don't even know what's going on. They said, well, research. So I did the research, and I found and understand what meaning of that word, and I can put things together. To get the book together, it wasn't easy. Somehow I wrote the book in 60 days, and a lot of work, and my mind was running. So the healing is, we need to healing. We need to heal ourselves first, because the class I'm teaching, you can't heal other until you heal yourself first. To remove on the trauma, on the problem you have from other relationship or other lifetime. And even though throughout your life, you still continue doing that for yourself, and also the cleansing your chakra, also the form of healing, because chakra go through your body, is, your body, your chakra, your power, your body. So one of them has certain problem, then you will not be able to function properly. So we go deep in that when the class, you can get my book and read it to understand further how in the chakra affect your life. Anything else you want me to say?
No, that's fine. That's great. I really appreciate how. So just discussing how, when it comes to healing, and we're starting back to what we talked about. You have to start working on yourself, and however that healing looks like, it's going to be different with each person. And that's a true story. I mean, I know as far as my journey, I know my journey is way different than Joe's journey, because we've compared notes on just some growth, and I know Dennis has compared notes with Joe as well. And I imagine a lot of you that are connected. I know Tanya connects with Joe as well, and a few of you. And same thing, I know you guys all have your own journeys and your own growth, and that's why this group is different, is to kind of discuss our situations. And I know my growth has been, I'm very proud of myself for just the work that I've done. And I feel like that's where it started is like I said, just kind of taking my own power back and say, you know what, I'm me, and I'm going to be me no matter what, if you like it or you don't. And I'm going to always be truthful for you and towards you. And I would hope you would do the same to me. And that's how that's how me working on my own energy is like, can I be a better version of me? And it's always been a yes for me. It's always a yes. I can do better. I can do better. I know I can do better. And I feel like that's where it started for me, was I don't want to be the same me that I used to be. That's when I really started to put the work in. I don't know about you, Mr. Joe. What are your thoughts on some of this?
Let's change it up. Go to Dennis next, because maybe if we change the flow, we won't have so many issues. So Dennis, you're right.
Well, then you can have all my issues
rock and roll,
there,
Dennis.
Joe.
Just trying to figure out how we can stop this.
Rock and roll. See, Dennis is holding us up on the screen. See that?
Mhm,
So at least on my screen it is. He's holding us up. See? Got the weight. Exactly.
With all three of us having different roads, I'm thinking at some point we all converge. We may not have the same
AI getting involved.
Come on. There he is. Good.
Are we
Talk.
back?
Yeah, you're good. Good.
I just had to remove.
Okay. I know some time ago I had in the military a guy that used to work for me who had clumps of hair always falling out, so he kept his head bald. And talking to him, I was also praying for his healing, and I think 2 weeks later he had a full head of hair and nothing missing. So
wow.
Awesome.
My guess is that your words, even in thought, are as powerful as they are when they are spoken.
Agreed.
I agree with that.
Let's go on up to Jay there, Joe.
How about you, Mr. Joe?
I got a couple of things on that. First off, I want to say I am drinking more water. Just want to let you all know what I'm actually doing is I'm taking water and I'm filtering it through ground coffee beans, heated up the water.
Mhm.
And once it goes through the coffee beans, I then drink the water. Just saying.
I got
Thank
some
you.
of that in my cup
Yes,
too.
exactly. But it's more water. Couple things I wanted to say off of what you guys already said. Mental, physical trauma, and Jason, you're right. Love comes down to acceptance and acknowledgement. Also, understanding limitations, understanding truths, and that is loving yourself. Also, and one of the things, ladies, as you know, men can be pretty big babies when they're sick. I don't know what it is. I like to think of myself as not typical, but we think somehow we require more special knowledge from a mother figure. Don't know why, but for most of the men I know. But one of the things I wanted to talk about, since we touched on the past life pain, is I can tell you I experienced phantom pain. In other words, when I had my hips replaced, a couple years afterwards, I would still have pain in my hips. There's no reason for me to have any kind of pain in that area when my hips were replaced. I think maybe that does have to do with some kind of past life trauma that we don't necessarily know about because it would hurt. And I even said to my doctor, why is this bothering me? And he literally said it could be a number of things, but most likely it's phantom pain, or they also call it as memory pain. Usually after 6 or 7 months, because the nerves were firing at such a rate. In other words, hey, I'm hurting, hey, I'm hurting, hey, I'm hurting. And when that was taken away, there's a different kind of hurt, but yet it did it for so long that it still starts sending those signals. But he also said they call that phantom or memory pain. I just thought that was kind of to throw that in there to the past lives, because I know people that have pain and there's nothing wrong with them and they just don't understand it. Thought I'd throw that out there. And the only other thing, like Dennis had mentioned about our life pain, our paths are different, but they intertwine. Me and Jason have been talking about that last week or just after the last show, that it's almost like the DNA helix. They keeps coming back, where our paths keep crossing, even though we're going on separate journeys. So it's pretty unique. He picked that up also. And we actually don't talk about the show before the show, because I find out, like everybody else, what the topic is. I look on what Jason posts, and it's like healing. Oh, okay, we're doing healing tonight. We have no idea. That's what's fun about it too.
It's news for me too. Like I said, I have to really think. I have to really sit there and channel the energy to see what I get. And some of the themes kind of overlap each other, and that's where I feel like we needed to kind of pull all this in. Like we mentioned, we're kind of going out, and then we kind of come back, and I feel like we've come out. Now it's time to focus on this. When we come together in the helix, that's like our center point. I feel like our heart and we're the center of our soul essence is our soul. And I feel like we need to start healing ourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that what I feel like it means to that, for me at least, is starting to just love yourself. I don't feel like we love ourselves enough. And I feel like because we're afraid of somebody saying, oh, you're selfish if I take more time to do something for myself, or if I really want to do something that I enjoy. And if some people say, well, I got other obligations, I got things like that. That comes back to them, people worrying about what people think, worrying about other people's energies and actions when it has nothing to do with your own journey. And that's what I feel like we forget about that. And once we're able to kind of start to leave all that behind and just start to work on changing how, if you feel this is the best version of you, awesome. Then that's awesome for you. That means you're in alignment. And if you feel you're in alignment, great. But I know for myself, I need to continually work in order to, I feel like there's a higher level for me to go.
Mhm.
And I feel like that's where I want people to realize is I feel like if you feel that that's a content place for you, awesome. But I also feel like the more you work on it, it's you're going up a level and you're starting to open gifts. So the more you work on spirituality and loving yourself, that's why a lot of you haven't opened gifts. And that's a true story. It's because you have blockages. There's things that either you're holding on to that haven't energies need to be removed. As we talk about maybe past life traumas, chakras closed. Those are things that I feel like there's an energy and attunements of things like people, once they're attuned by the right person or the right energies, then people's gifts will open. But I feel like it also has to start with you wanting to be better and wanting to connect more with spirit, because we can try to attune and do all these things, but if you're not open to that, the energies won't work with you.
I agree. I think there's can I add on that?
Sure.
Since, we've had all these experiences and we can look them at as trials, tribulations, but we're growing. Since my growth, I mean, I got to be honest, I'm really in a kind of a state of bliss. I mean, I may have resting bitch face here, but what I'm getting at is I actually feel really good. I mean, I am kind of in this state of joy. I can still be human, but I really do. I mean, negative thoughts are less and less that pop into my head. There is a happiness about it. Again, resting bitch face. But I'm just saying, I feel joyful. I feel really good. And I feel good about everyone that are coming and following and stepping into their energy and taking ownership. But I mean, that's kind of an acknowledgement. But I had heard someone mention something about bliss or being blissful. And I literally had to think to myself, I've been really just phenomenally, I've never been happier. I can say that I'm content, but like Jason said, if you're happy where you are, that's fine. But don't forget, tomorrow is another day. Tomorrow is the next day to be the better version of you. And yeah, I do connect with a lot of people, but I learn off of them also. I mean, they are part of my journey and helping me. They most of them that come to me are, I try and help them through their understanding of their gifts and how they're going. But at the same time, I get something out of this. I mean, there are times where I have experienced their emotions to the point of like almost being there. I mean, that's powerful to me. That is so beautiful because it's something we don't get to experience. You see someone they're laughing, happy, we kind of see them and we smile. But we don't necessarily know what they're laughing about, but we can see people having a good time. And yet it's like, yeah, it's contagious. But to feel someone's energy and feelings that like changed them and made them happy or made them sad, that's quite powerful. And it's literally liberating in a joyful way for me. So we do get these experiences. I just wanted to mention it. Please excuse me. I'll be right back. I apologize. Dogs.
What are you thinking there? I know Min Cha there's a couple of things I know you wanted to speak out. I could feel your energy.
Yeah, I know. You keep saying you need to love yourself more, but something easy to say than done. You know what I'm saying? Like you want to build a table, you need the right tool to build it. Okay, want to sweep the floor, you need the right tool to do that. Otherwise, you don't know what to do with it. So, sometimes I want to share some of my experience with you guys because I just for a lot of my students that I come close to them and I could feel, like I know that they're very intelligent, very gifted, and somehow they hold back, and then I had to go, to use my intuition and find out what they had to go through, and then I put them through hypnosis and do past life regression, and I don't know if I should say it, but I'm not gonna say the name. But one of my students, she had somehow the contact with one of the men that she thought she was in love with him, but he had nothing to do with her, and she kept put him on her on who they call it family forms. We contact him every month, but somehow he had nothing to do with her. So I told her that I feel like some of the past life, you were with him, but and I don't think he did want anything to do with you last past life either. And you continue following him this lifetime to see what's going on with him. So she get mad. I said, "You don't care this." I said, "You know what? Let's put you through hypnosis." And she cursed me out so bad. And the next day she come back to say, "Can you help me out?" So I did. And I remember I put her on a massage table and I said that all of a sudden I feel like my body rocking back. I freaked me out. I throw myself on the chair. I said, "What's going on here?" Oh, she said, "Oh, we're in the boat in the ocean. We're on the boat." She's very gifted. She could see things, everything. And I'm closing my eye, I said, "Okay, so I can feel that we're on the boat." I said, "Well, what is it then?" She said, "That's the lamp, for the lantern lamp." I said, "Look at the photo." I said, "Wait a minute, are we in China?" He said, "Oh yeah, we're in China." And so and I saw the man sitting. I said, "Is he China? Is Chinaman?" She said, "Oh yeah, he's Chinaman." And little bird there and feed him with the what's called it, the bait, so he can fish. And she sit behind him, pay no attention, pay no attention to her. He just fishing. And then for a while I said, "You know what, you want to go a little bit forward the lifetime to see what's going on?" You know what she told me? She said, "Minjo, no, I see now." And what do you mean? She said, "He did the same thing in his lifetime. Go fishing, had nothing to do with her." So I said, "Good, I think I understand now." And I never saw happier. And then she feel like she break that cycle, and then she move on. I never saw him again, but the last time I saw her, she was very happy that she feel like she, break through everything, something that hold her back, that she couldn't do many things in her life.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like there's a lot of things that it keeps coming back into our present until we change things. There's got to be a change it's a hurdle. That's why I feel like it comes back to, we have traumas that continue to pop up in this lifetime from the previous lifetime. And I feel like it starts with healing, forgiveness, and also letting go of these things. And that's why, because we keep these energies with us no matter what. I mean, energy is never destroyed. I mean, it's only changed. So that's what people don't realize. It just doesn't go away. These energies just kind of transfer energetic fields as we move along. So as she's mentioned, yeah, she found out from something from a previous lifetime that's still stuck on it. That could be whatever you attract to. Why do I always find the asshole in a relationship? Those types of things. Well, why do I always, why do I have problems with my kids the way I do?
I'm sorry
Whatever it may be. Why do I have problems with money? Those are things that are from previous times that you still have to learn how to move past them. So those are things, it's noticing patterns as well. Like for myself, I know for sure things that are very much pattern-like. Like I used to get these same recurring thoughts. They would go away for a while, then all of a sudden they would start to ramp up, and they would ramp up on me until either I would just have to do something to get that to be done with or move on or to something different, whatever it is. But I knew that those were recurring things, and it was something I had to work past, and I did. And it was something that was very difficult for me, but I did. And that's something that I had to face my fear. That's what I feel like we're afraid to face the fears. And that's what honestly I feel like that's what Spirit just told me right now. People are afraid to face the fears because then that creates more fears.
Exactly.
Fears of rejection,
Can I add to that?
fears of not being right. Yes, go ahead.
I think some people are afraid to face the truths.
Exactly.
The truths of themselves.
Yeah, truth is hard to face. Yeah.
The truths are sometimes scarier than the fears.
Absolutely.
And I generally say to people, and usually any video I do, I always tell people how beautiful they are. They only just see. I mean, see the person. I always say, be the person you want to meet and befriend, that have in your life. That's giving of yourself, but that's also acknowledging that you're imperfect. You're never going to be perfect. And one of the things I struggled with, and Jason will tell you this, same with Dennis, I didn't understand these gifts. Why me? I'm just some guy from Pittsburgh.
So why me? Yeah.
You know, But I realized that I've learned many things over my lifetime, swallowed some bitter truths, but reconciled with them
Yeah.
and came out better because they were just lessons that I had to understand and conquer. And I'm no different than anyone else, but I'm willing to say to myself, pull your big boy panties on. Okay, you got to face this. And sometimes you have to do that. There is a little tough love when it comes to acknowledging these things. Just my 2 cents with the thing there.
No, I agree. What do you think, Dennis?
I think face your fear and use the force, Jay.
Right.
Mm,
Of course. So what do you think there on there, Mitchell? What are your thoughts on the
It seemed like a face the fear. It seemed like we're all afraid of that. I know because even I got the message to write the book 8 years before, 8.5 years before I wrote it, because I wonder why me? Don't you find the other people, the more famous than I, why me? And I wouldn't do it. I did put it up and I wrote something and all kind of messages. I mean, for my friend, medium psychic and all kind of, I receive the message through them all the time. And I had one of my students, she could draw the spirits. So every time I saw her, she draw the spirit. I tell her, you have to do that, you have to do that. I say, yeah, okay, I will, but it never happened. So during the pandemic, I didn't want to write that book. I didn't want to because somehow I always feel, a lot of people get very jealous what I do. So they, I just sense it that I don't want it. But then when I got the message, we wrote the book.
mm,
And we went through the meditation with the company, the author incubator, and I would listen to the tape about like 3 minutes before into the tape. I just realized, oh my God, there's a meditation. Pull myself up. And the two meditation, I said, oh my gosh. And I saw certain scenery that I recognized before. So wait a minute, what I'm here for? That's a message tell me that's my journey I need to write about. It freaked me out. And then finally had to change a different book. In fact, the book I wanted to write was Communicate with the Other Side. Very good at that. So, but then they want me to write this book. So there you go. So I had to change my gear, and they say, been too long already. You had to write today, not tomorrow, not 6 months from today. The message was very, very clear. I say, okay, because I wrote it before. I lost all my materials, and I so discouraged. So I just kind of tried to avoid it. Maybe not meant to be. But even when I wrote this book, believe me, in those 60 days, I was in ER 4 times.
Wow, the chat just jumped
They
again.
try to not allow me to get the book out. Some of the forces try to. I believe in the new chakra that we have. We eventually defeat them, and they don't like that. I'm very strongly saying that. I know. So then the first time I put a bag, go out to my eye, I would deliver food for DoorDash, and the two bags stuck. I pull one, but hit one in my eyes. I both abrasion both eyes. I thought I was going blind, but nothing happened. And then after, when I came into ER and for the eyes, a week later I came back because I tripped and fell, sprained my ankle. I had to be on the scooter for maybe 2 weeks.
I was on a knee scooter like a couple weeks ago because of my foot. Out of nowhere, my foot was really having an issue and felt it was broken. Because I have a lot of bad feet from jumping out of airplanes and things in the Army for so many years. So a lot of stress fractures. And I didn't even know that, believe it or not. I mean, it's off topic for a second, but it's funny how the universe works.
Yeah, I know.
Is I had this glass. I felt like I was stepping on glass one time. And I was like, why are my foot feels so weird? So I'm like, all right. So I was an x-ray director. I ran x-ray departments. And so my tech said, hey, we'll hook it up. We'll do an MRI on your foot and we'll do some exams and then we'll have the doctor look at it. Couldn't find anything. So the doctor, who was a foot specialist, looked at my MRI and he's like, as they're on the phone, they're just reading it for me. And he's like, you were in the military, weren't you?
Ooh, okay.
I said, yes, why?
Stressful.
He goes, I can look at your feet and tell me I can see exactly you were in the military. You only get these types of things, these old stress fractures and things from military, from road marching and pounding. And I was like, on your feet. I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what I did. So the fact is I had no idea, but then that was the reason why I was having so many of these problems. So I feel like that's something to do with it. That's the universe has put that in for me to learn something, and that was actually something that I was able to get taken care of. But I still have problems once in a while with my feet. So, but off subject is I'm saying the universe works in mysterious ways. Okay. Just today, I mean, some of these patterns that my wife and I are putting together, my wife was starting to put puzzle pieces together for herself. And what she connected with me, I was like, oh my, I didn't even know about that. So that's the reason why we come together for these things. We put little puzzle pieces together. You're a puzzle piece in this grand scheme of this beautiful layout of a puzzle that God has for us. And we forgot that. We forgot that we are without us, we're incomplete puzzle. Does that make any sense to anybody? Without you,
I'm just a corner piece.
Complete puzzle.
I'm getting to you, Dennis. I got something for you.
I'm in trouble now.
No, this one, you're like hammering me over here. Okay, what made you write your book, Dennis?
Me?
Oh,
Dennis.
It wasn't.
How was it?
It wasn't me that wanted to write the book. Like men, I did not want to write it. It was the followers on Facebook that called me into it after about 2 or 3 years. So I just gathered everything that I had written during that time and put it all into a book and sent it off.
But what made you accept it? In other words, yes, this kind of pertains to what we're dealing with. What made you go, yeah, I'm going to do this?
I know
I'm sure Spirit had a whole lot to do with it, egging me on.
That's what
That's
what they were hammering me on.
Yeah.
But when they interfere, they mean business.
Yeah.
Everything happened when they interfere. They would cut out everything to be sure you do what you're supposed to do. Even I'm hurting. You can go back to the third time. I get up one morning, I totally paralyzed for a whole week. For that book, a week before my book was launched, I was totally paralyzed.
Mm-hmm.
So I told the other side, I said, you know what? No matter what you do, I'm just going to type. I get up and I go to my table and I start to type, and I can do anything I would type. So at the end, the book came out. But the last one, I feel like 1,000 tons of electrical go through my body, terrifying. So anyway, everything gone through and I get a book out. Even the last minute, I thought I couldn't because somehow when they transfer the file from me to the editor and they two story become one story. And I freaked out. I get up and I caught it. A pain of spirit, they want me to write that part. Somehow she there to guide me. Why I went to direct that part, I know there's something wrong with that part. And it came and they said, oh, it's too late. And I say, no, I don't have to. My book can wait. And that's how they fix it right away. See, everything happened to the T. But it wasn't an easy journey that I had to go through that. I was really very bad for 60 days. I have no idea.
But also, wasn't that you facing your fears? I mean, in many respects, it was a good thing, but yet you had to face it. You were driven to do it, but yet you still felt compelled to do it and move forward, even though it was scary. Again, it's a truth. It was okay, but yet that was facing truth and fear simultaneously. I think that's beautiful, honestly.
Yeah.
And like I said, it does start with that. You have to really step back. And it's like what it says, like with my deck, my ancestor deck, I have one like the warrior, the hunter. The hunter is the card that comes to mind, is the hunter. You have to go out and you have to attack your fears, but you also have to go out and attack for your desires, the things that you want to bring into your energetic field. And that's what we talk about. Honestly, this starts with healing. It's what do you want to bring into your energetic field? Do you want to continually have these worrisome thoughts? Continue to, be angry about something, even if it's something that happened 2 days ago or yesterday, or even 5 minutes or even 30 seconds ago. It's not happening right now. Mm-hmm. And I know that's a hard thing for people to get past, because I used to be, when you piss me off, it would take me a minute to kind of calm myself. Like sometimes people would actually have to tell me, dude, pump the brakes, man. Seriously, you're like
I'm
going
laughing.
off.
I'm laughing because it took me a minute. I'm laughing. Okay, I'm not buying that. Non-commissioned officer. It only took me 60 seconds.
Exactly.
I'd give it a few more seconds. I'm just saying.
No, I mean, it just tells me it's like, it's, I would get mad and it would just flip out. You know what I mean? Then it was like, there was like almost like something clicked in me. Like something had to come to a completion
Right.
when I would get to that point. What I mean by that is when I would get angry, either I had to lash out. I had to close a loop for me. And that's what I felt like. It was like closing. I don't know what that even looked like at the time, because every time it was a little different, but I almost like when I was to the point where like, okay, I got to close it off. And it was done with. And I was that type, is I would be pissed. And when I'm done with it, I let it go. And then I don't even think about the shit anymore. But the thing is that was almost like something had to be completed. And that was like, now my ears ringing. So that tells me like, this is something that I had to work on, and I still have to work on it.
Agreed. But I just want to say that was kind of a control for you almost. It was a way to bring it to a closure. And you had to. That's just it. And just like these guys doing their books, that was challenges no different than what everyone's facing. It's coming to you're your worst critic. Okay, you're worried about how it's perceived, how people are going to look at it. I mean, that's facing a lot of fears and truths all at the same time. That's really quite powerful, because it's not something I don't believe I could face or do. I just don't see it within me. But what I'm saying is you took on that challenge, no matter how it was led, and you faced it. Yeah, was it a roller coaster ride? For sure. But that's what everyone's experiencing. A lot of these are just roller coaster rides. The good thing is what people don't realize is the ride does come to an end. You can get off and you can stand and go, okay, it wasn't so bad. But it does.
Mine wasn't a roller coaster.
Straight
it went
down.
up and it went straight down.
But it did stop.
No, it's still going.
It's still going? Okay.
It's still going. Yeah. Can I say something?
Yeah, absolutely.
For me, I won't get angry very, very often anymore. But I feel that, I had to let it out. So since I'm a writer, I wrote about it. Sometimes I had to send things to other people that did wrong to me, and they didn't like what I write, because when I had to write, I let it out. You know what I'm saying? Because you keep thinking, let it go, but you have to let it go. I read some of the book. They say you write it down, everything, and you don't have to send a person. You can, tear it off and then burn it off. But for me, I just had to let them know how I feel, and then I'm done. I'm not get angry, but they didn't like what I write either. But so I just had to let it out that way, and then let go.
And we're all that does come back to healing, closure, ending. You know what I mean? That was a form of healing in many respects.
Yeah.
Well, Dennis is still going to the bottom, but there is some healing to that. Is what I'm getting at. You had mentioned before that a form of healing, that's right there, is similar.
Yeah.
It's a form of healing.
Do you work with our information, Dennis?
It's actually it's slowly starting to creep up. But
so you made it to the bottom, huh? To the valley.
I made it to the bottom. Yes.
Hallelujah.
We're in the valley now.
From what I had to pay to get it out there, it's probably going to take me about 20 years just to break even.
We got time. We got time. Sure you do.
Spring chicken.
Sure you do. Those grays are starting. Those grays are starting to get darker. They're not getting lighter.
No, I mean I agree though. I mean that's what it starts. Honestly, we're all going to have falls, even in the cards, the tarot cards. For some of you guys who watch tarot, I mean for me for tarot cards, even the Wheel of Fortune card for me, that's usually a better card, but it also tells me there's ups and downs. Those are karmic cycles, and that comes up with karmic cycle. That's energetic loops.
Yeah,
as I just talked about, like I had to have a completion, like almost like you broke the electrical current. You had to break it, and then it would branch off into something different.
Wow.
So like a step down transformer, something like that. Something had to change that energetic, energy inside of me, what I was feeling. And I feel like for me to even start to come down, that's where I feel like, and that was me noticing that. And I had to start noticing these things about myself. And that's where I first started. And sometimes I didn't like the stuff. Honestly, like even when I look back at things now, of like some of the things, how I reacted, some of the things, I mean, honestly, I'm almost ashamed, not ashamed, but I mean, I wish I could have done things a little better, but now I've learned from them. I've grown, I've released that stuff, but I actually did. I kind of reviewed my own life. And that's like what you can kind of do. It's your own Akashic records, even if it's not in previous lifetimes. You can go back through your own Akashic record while you're here in the awake. You can that's what you do. That's what you're accessing. You're accessing that when you go back and review things from your past. People don't realize you're going through the file cabinet, as what Jay would say. I have a file cabinet that I've gone through.
Yeah.
Well,
Also, I wanted to say, once, like you said, you went through it, but you also, at the end of that, you do move forward. That's what we have to, there is a completion, the ride gets over, and we do move forward. As long as we acknowledge those things, we move forward, and generally you move up. So, I mean, again, a form of healing, seeing it, perspective. You can't look at all the failures as failures. If you quit trying, then that's the easiest thing to do, not try.
Yeah.
Or not step forward. That's the easiest thing to do. But to try and try and try, that's progress. There's a lesson to be learned in every one of those attempts. That's how you succeed. That's healing.
Yeah. You see, Edison, how many times he failed? If he didn't try, we wouldn't get any electric like that. The light, everything today, right? Yeah. They say the failure is the mother of success. Is that the American say the same thing?
Yep. That's right. I mean, that's what it comes back to, even with your failures. And it's not really a failure. And when people realize, like for things, it's just a redirection.
Yeah.
It's a redirection.
It's an attempt, the way I look at it.
Absolutely.
I see it as an attempt, a taking a shot. It is, risking. You're putting yourself at risk. You're actually exposing yourself. Okay, let's be honest. You're exposing yourself when you take that risk. That's big. You can look at it as, I didn't make it. I didn't complete it. But you expose yourself. Isn't that part of the journey? Look what you learned from that. I mean, you trusted in yourself. You trusted in your intuition. Did it work out the way you wanted it to? Maybe yes, maybe no. But you tried. And that means you're moving forward. What if you didn't? Then that's the easy part. That's like, I don't have to fail. I don't have to. So there's no responsibility. There's no pain. There's no emotion. I don't see that as living. We try things every day. If we just look at it as an attempt, just bettering ourselves. Isn't that really acknowledging? Okay, I want to better myself. Isn't that just acknowledging? That's exposing, rolling up on your back. One, here's my belly. That's you're trying. That's an attempt. Okay, and every attempt is something, and in that essence, there's a healing to that. I mean, you have to expose yourself and deal with it. That to me is healing, however you want to look at it. It's no different than getting a bad, because you left your arm out of the ride. Keep your hands and feet inside the wheel at car at all times. Well, you got your arm hurt, right? You pulled it in the next time. That's a success. People don't see it that way. But if you don't learn, then there is no success. But if you were smart enough to go, I remember I got my arm hurt here. I'm sorry. Take the win. It doesn't matter that it's small. Take the win. Take the victory lap. Woo! I'm just saying, have a little pride in that. That's an attempt, and that's a healing at the same time. Be right back. Excuse me.
So the thing that I just got from Spirit right now was there's a lot of people afraid to say things, I feel, even out loud, maybe to spouses, things that have happened that you've held in or you haven't told them the whole truth. I feel like there's some things maybe with family members or friends. I feel like there's a lot of things that people are holding on to that they're afraid to say things to people because they're afraid of the reaction they're going to get and how disruptive it may be for these things that need to come out. And I feel like that's what I feel energetically is holding a lot of people back as we comes back to the fear of letting go. So sometimes the hardest thing that you'll have to deal with is facing the fear of just letting it go. Things you've been holding on to. I mean, it could be whatever. You might be holding something, but feel like so many people holding on to things. I keep seeing these 4 of Pentacles. 4 of Pentacles in all my readings. That tells me people are holding on to a lot of energy, a lot of things that they need to let go of. It could be things, like I said, with your spouse, with your children. It could be something with your parents. It could be something, whatever, maybe your brothers, sisters, boyfriends, girlfriends. This is all something I feel like that people need to let go of, even if it's hard to do, because that was something I had to do myself personally. There was things that I had to tell, like for my wife and things like that, just in general. I had to let this out. I had to let it out. And when I finally did, I felt like weight just literally came off of me because there was things I was holding on to because I was afraid of, okay, now if I say this to her, maybe she's going to leave me. That's my fears. And that's my example that I can tell you. And you know what? I said something and it worked out beautifully for me. And no matter how that would worked out, even if it would have, say my wife would have got mad, let's say for an example, and left or whatever the situation was, it was what was meant to happen. But I felt so much better just letting that stuff go. Like it was so empowering for me. I feel like my energy, I felt like I got it back. I don't know what it was about that. I feel like I just let go of these things that were just kind of holding me down. And just once that happens, it was just like, oh, it just flowed to me. Like I felt so relaxed, like God was saying, good job.
You released it.
Something you needed to do that was hard. I was afraid to do. And I'm not going to lie and say there's some things that I've said or done that I was afraid to, out of my own fears of how that person was going to react or what was going to happen because of these things. And you know what the thing is, the things already happened in the past. And that's what I feel like, but I was still pulled into my reality because I was in the present because I was holding on to things. And once I let those things go, literally, I felt amazing. I'm at peace. It's like what Jay was saying earlier. It's like he's in a peaceful place. And I don't know about you, Dennis, if you feel like you're in a peaceful place. Like I know for me, an example, if the world ended today, I'm okay. I feel at peace. I feel at peace. And that's what I want everyone here to have. The same thing is you have to be at peace. I know people are afraid to die. You shouldn't be afraid to die. You shouldn't.
I'm not afraid of that because I died for 6 hours and came back. So I went through death experience. So I'm not afraid of death. We've been there. So I had nothing to be fear.
Joe also had one as well.
Yeah.
I mean, so there's 2 people on this panel today that had, and I know there's other people in the chat that have had near-death experiences. And most of you kind of know, like there was something you learned tremendously from that. And usually when people have near-death experiences, they come back with gifts or they open things because they've gone between the physical and the highest spiritual realm you can be at the time. So it's like a crash course for energy is what I feel when people who've had that. I mean, I know that's what Min Chow had a near death, and I know you also did as well, Jay. And like I said, when it comes to that, that's people started purposes. When people have those things, their purpose changes.
Yep, absolutely. Think differently. And, I mean, after I'm gone for 6 hours, the doctor didn't want to do anything. They want me to die in peace. But then in the morning, I got up, the nurse came and she said, oh, you still around. We're going to prepare to take you to theater. I thought I want to know why theater. I had a piece of paper and a pen, And she said, operating room is American call. And I 600 stitches on my face.
Wow.
600 is not a joke. I lost, my smile and everything, but, so was the karma. And so, things that happened. And I didn't understand why this happened. And a few years later, I came home and I met this man. He's a He's a medium psychic. I'm not he astrologer. So he did the chart. He told me certain scar I had to wear in my body. It freaked me out. So everything, ever since I feel at peace. I feel like okay, you know, why the thing happened to me, but it's meant to be. But he say that will, you know, let me get better in my life, and I will, you know, have certain gift that open for me, and I didn't see that until much later years. So what happened?
He's
They're
getting
really hammering me. Yeah, they're really hammering me. Balance. Balance is part of healing. And you obviously know about this, but we really do have to take into account balance. There's always going to be good. There's always going to be bad, even in our experiences.
Yeah, everything is
Right. And part of that healing process is there is a balance. I mean, even if you look at a balance sheet, you know, a balance sheet reconciles goods and bads are equal in many respects, but there's a harmony within the balance. It's, I don't know, go from there. That's what jabbing me in my head with it. So thought I'd throw it out there.
Well, I think like the harmony and balance that tells me is like don't get too high and don't get too low. I mean, like we were talking about the highs, like when Dennis made the perfect example. He's like, I'm just feel like I'm just crashing. I just keep going down. And we're doing this. That's what I feel like what Spirit's saying is we need to, when we're low, we need to bring ourselves up. And when we're high, we need to kind of humble ourselves is what I feel is what this Spirit telling me is because we can either our energy, like I said, it's what our energetic field, what we put out is what we're going to get in. And that's what I feel like finding the balance is they want us to maintain a nice equal in alignment balance. So when it gets too high, we're able to balance it. We're able to step back. When we get too low, same thing. We're able to, okay, I'm acknowledging that I have to pull myself up. That's where I feel the growth is. These are speed bumps that God is saying here. If it's a speed bump, it becomes a wall. And then it becomes a mountain. So that's all about how, that's why I feel is because that's why you keep getting these obstacles that keep reoccurring because there's some type of growth that needs to happen for you in order to progress up that chain, that ladder, as we talk about the stairway to heaven. There's multi-layered.
Right.
And I feel like that's where it starts.
It is how you face it. You know,
Exactly.
how you face that. Is it an obstacle? Is it a movable obstacle? Are you willing to try? I mean, you have to take a swing. You have to take a swing. And, you know, once you get past what everyone thinks or your perception of how people are going to envision you, you know, no offense. I mean, wipe your ass with that stuff. Okay.
Exactly.
I mean, you got to come to the point where it's like, hey, I don't care what you think.
It's awful rough.
Well, I use 2-ply. I'm just saying, but what I'm getting at is it doesn't matter. You know, I mean, when if you're willing to try, you're willing to accept failure. But if you're the smart one that's willing to try, you're willing to try. Well, that didn't work. I'm going to try again. I'm going to try it this way. What did I learn from that? Again, you got to come to a balance. You can't always look at these things as an impossible thing. You just have to look at it as how can I get past this? What is it the perception of people I'm worried about? Because that's stifling me. Or what are you so scared about what people perceive you to be? How is that going to change your life? Okay, you're worried about what someone's thinking about you. Wait, you get up in the morning, right? You do your morning routine. Does that thought come into your head again? Because that's not them, that's you. You got to release that. You got to release that.
Well, for instance, when you say morning routine, what just popped in my head from Spirit is people are like, okay, I have to, for instance, like I'm going to use Ms. Min Chow as an example. She was like, okay, do I look good? Do I look fine for people? You think people are going to think I look okay? And I'm like, who cares what these people say?
You're beautiful, Min Chow.
That's what I mean, though. Even for, you know, someone who's very spiritual, it comes back to because we've been trained that way.
Yeah.
From the moment we take our breath and they smack us on the ass as a baby, if you don't, or not, but even if the moment you take your first breath out of the womb, it's then you just literally, you're being taught that way. Okay, this has to be, hold the baby this way, don't do this. I mean, literally, and it starts that way. It's the fears. It's automatically start to be fearful. And we're afraid of what others think. We look at ourselves in the mirror, it's like, okay, now, is this going to be okay? Is this sufficient? Well, hope I don't have a pimple. Oh, I got to cover this. Oh, my hair is all messed up. Oh, well, I'm wearing does everything match? That's what I'm saying. But you look at yourself and you're like, you're not looking at yourself for you.
Right.
You're looking at yourself for what others see you as.
Yeah, I mean,
And that's where I feel like it has to start from there.
it does. In that mirror, that mirror is what you see. If you can only see this mask, you're not giving yourself the opportunity to see the true you. And this body hides our true self. This is just a mask.
Absolutely.
You know, you really have to look past this. See the good person you are. See the simple things that make you you, putting others before yourself. All these little things. Take into account those things. Look, I don't always see the superficial. It's like sometimes like these names out of the screen that jump out at me. Good, good, good. Sure, there's a bad one here. Good, good,
Sure.
good.
We crush that.
But what I'm saying is that's also can be changed.
Making
It's
a
being-
list and checking it twice.
I said that today. It's like I'm manifesting this spirit of Christmas, just so you know. But it is like, but see, at the same time, even though I might see a bad, they're trying.
Yeah.
They're here. They're trying. That gives me hope. And so I don't see it as bad. I see it as trying. Do you know what I mean? Like attempting, trying to make themselves better, trying to learn about themselves with other people. But it does. It starts in that mirror. That mirror is your biggest obstacle. Okay. If you can't see past the reflection, just okay, like men, my body, I've had enough surgeries that I probably got as many scars, if not more, all over me. It's like an ugly road map. I don't mind taking my shirt off. I don't care about those things. You know, if you're out in public, like say a public pool, people are like this. Wow, that's a gut wrencher. It's like,
He lives.
yeah, but that's just it. But I mean, to me, that's life. I experience things. This is what life looks like. Life isn't always pretty, but guess what? I'm still standing. You know, take it as a lesson learned. But I look at those things as they're part of me. I don't look at them as scars. I look at them as experiences. You know, it is about perception. You know, I mean, do I care that the scars are there? No, I don't. Just like you, I could have them all over my face. It wouldn't bother me. It just wouldn't. I wouldn't care what people think about me whatsoever because I can see past these things. If you can only see what's in front of you, you're not learning. You're not learning.
For me, just so you guys know as well, I was in the military and I used to have baby face skin when I was young. And as soon as I went in the military and started getting deployed, I started getting really bad skin. I got really bad acne on my face, really bad acne on my back, and it left really bad scars all over my face, all over my back. And I was always self-conscious about taking my shirt off, even getting a massage, anything like that, because I was always afraid, like, oh, people are going to see what this looks like. And I have all these scars, and people are like, what does it look like? It looks like shrapnel on my back. Like, just looks like shrapnel all over my back is what it looked like. And I had people ask me, did you take shrapnel? And I was like, no, that's just bad skin from the military. So that was always my thing. So I finally went past that. I was like, you know what? I don't care. I'm just going to be me and I'm going to do my thing. And I feel like that was my way of, even when I looked at myself now, I was like, okay, I look at myself and I'd stop looking at it so closely about my skin, you know, because it's my scars. It's what brought me to where I am today. I mean, even though I don't like it, but I moved past it, you know?
Right.
So that's my own personal thing for you guys to say, you know, I look at myself in the mirror, same thing. I got to take a breath and say, you know what, you're beautiful.
Exactly.
And I tell myself that.
You do, and you need to. I mean, full disclosure, when I was a kid, just like you, I had all these half-moon scars on my back. My dad was a very powerful man. He worked hard. In fact, we called him as little kids 10 bears because he worked like 10 bears. We were into the cowboy and Indian movies. And, you got beat way back when. And a lot of times we'd be running away, trying to get away, and he would just grab you with that claw. And it wasn't necessarily, I mean, I'm sure we'd call it abuse today, don't hit me. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm just saying we can laugh about it now. There was no manual, whether it's right or wrong. We've all have these bad past, but literally, like when we were kids, we'd have these little white marks on our backs, and people were like, "What's all over your back?" It's like, "Oh, we're in the rose bush." I mean, it was just, it was something that he lashed out at us. I mean, and it was just one of those things where if your brother did wrong, you learned the lesson every bit as painful as he did, even though you didn't do the lesson. But I'll guarantee you didn't forget the lesson that you didn't do, that now you just learned.
Yeah.
So I fully resonated with that statement about the acne. And at one point when I was younger, it was like, oh, I can't take my shirt off.
Yeah.
I do remember that there was a little bit of shame to it. And when I became a teenager, you can still see him if you were close, you know what I mean? But if you're that close, you better buy me dinner or something. I'm just saying, what are you looking at my back for? I got away with it through humor,
And I feel like we all have these scars in our own ways. It doesn't matter if it's even superficial or not. It could be something that's deep in you. It could be emotional scarring.
That's the worst.
Those are the worst ones, as she said, because those not only is it emotional, but you have there's energy attached to your spirit, attached to you, because it just stays and drains you like a leech. Because this is what we keep replaying. It's like almost like repeat. We keep pushing the replay button. It's like that's what I tell people when I do energy healings. I'm like, we need to close. See how my light got brighter? You need to release these things, and close the door behind you, metaphorically, really close it. Don't let it two-way. Don't let it keep opening up. And when it does, because when it does open back up, something's going to be right there on your shoulder tapping you. Don't forget about me. I'm still here. This hurt you so bad. Don't forget about that.
But
I'm not saying that you don't acknowledge it, because you acknowledge it.
Right.
But send it away with healing and love, forgiveness.
And without those experiences, no matter how personal they are, no matter how personal they are, they've intertwined us with everyone that we've met over this last 2 years. I mean, think about the domino effect. Without those experiences, I wouldn't have met X, or I wouldn't have met this person or that person. It all built up to this wonderful thing. But without one particular maybe bad moment or good moment, this moment couldn't have happened. It all had to happen in a succession for a reason. That's why we're here. We can look at it one way. I look at it positively. I look at the blessing of it. To me, that's I came to grips with my body years ago, but the blessings that I have can't be felt in the physical. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, that's what it starts with. I mean, we have things we have to address, and that comes back to what we talked about, the fears. All of us have fears, either pre-programmed or something that subconsciously that you just fear.
Self-imposed, yeah.
Self-imposed, exactly. I see a lot of the Eight of Swords in my readings. That's self-imposed, self-imprisonment of the mind. That's the things that we're kind of doing here. I feel like that's a lot of us that we do. Wow, we're just jumping around. Day jumped, and then Dennis jumped.
Oh, you've been jumping on me. Dennis has actually been semi-smooth. You and Amin have been jumping.
You're jumping on us.
My flickering.
Oh my goodness, man. The energy's here.
But I mean, it's not just us, it's also the chat too,
I know it's very high. we alter the AI. I know we do, for sure. We alter that algorithm.
Okay,
I fear the army.
Let me ask, how about if we say what, maybe in a sense, if you don't mind, what do you think is one of your healings? What do you look at as healing yourself, whether you continue to do it or something that has helped you? I mean, if you're willing to
Yeah.
share that, I
Perfect.
mean, maybe we could try something like that, and maybe let it resonate with who's ever listening and not necessarily participating.
Well, what I've done for me personally, what I do on a daily basis is, as I mentioned before, I try to bring it in like throughout the day. Periodically, I make it a point to kind of refocus myself, and I had to train myself to do this more, just for a few minutes to say, you know what, thank you for everything. Thank you, God, the creator of all, for all my blessings. Kind of realign my spirit every morning when I wake up. First thing I do, it becomes a thing now for me. I just do it. First thing I do as soon as I sit up in bed before I go to use the bathroom, usually first thing in the morning, thank you, Father God, for everything. Thank you for my blessings. Thank you for everything I have, all my abundance in my life, all the abundance is coming into my life. All those things that I think of, I say thank you for all my brothers, my sisters, my nieces, nephew, all of you beautiful souls of light. I say all that stuff every day before I go to bed. Same thing I do. I make it. That's what I've changed in my life the most, is before I go to bed, even I kind of quiet my mind, even if I'm energetic from reading and everything. I quiet my mind and I pull it in and say, thank you once again, Father God, for everything today. If you bless me with another day tomorrow, I'd be very appreciative. Those are things that I kind of start out. That's the most healing I've felt that I've done, because I started getting out of here. And I really don't, honestly, I've been trying to not think too much in the future of anything. And that's what I've been really working on for myself for the healing. And I feel like that's calmed my mind down. That's calmed my spirit down. Not worrying about tomorrow, what's happening 2 days from now, what's happening 10 minutes from now. Like my wife's like, what do you want for dinner? When I wake up in the day, I don't know. I didn't think about that.
All right, I'm that same way. I'll be looking at the wife, what do you want for dinner? She's like, I have no clue.
I teach my student to do that. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I mean, that's what it is living in the now. I mean, being present. So I feel like my healing started when I started to quiet my own mind down, because my mind, I'm a thinker. Like I try to make sense of things that I'll never be able to make sense of. And I try and I try and I try and I try and I can't. And I just can't. That makes me even more insane at times, because I can't make sense of something. And so I'm like, I finally got to the point where the spirit's like, leave it alone, man. Just leave it alone. Once you just quiet your mind, your soul will just sing. And that's what I feel like has really been going on, is once I quieted my mind, it's like my spirit and everything just opened. And I feel like I don't try to think too far in advance. I just try to be present as much as I can. Now, sometimes I'll catch myself, start thinking about things I probably shouldn't be thinking about, but trying to make patterns of things, whatever, stupid things like that. I have to bring it in and say, you know what, just let it go, take a breath, refocus, be in the present. So I feel like that's where my healing the most, when Jay asked me about what I've done, that's what I changed what I did just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
What I've done, I never used to do that first thing in the morning. I never used to do that before I go to bed. I never used to bring it into the energy and say, thank you for the things I have. So I feel like those are things that I've done. That's just a consistent thing of doing it and doing it and doing it. So yeah, go ahead.
Jason, I taught the class for maybe eight hours, and Jason remembered a lot of things, didn't know where it come from. When he said, I know, okay. You see, I taught my student at night, okay? They cleanse their chakra. Someone on the energy to work with us, cleanse out a chakra and do the meditation, and then you go to sleep. In the morning, you get up and and also, usually at night, I summon all the energy after I cleanse everything else. And I send energy out there. So anybody need to, they can tap into it and use that, And my student, my client, acquaintances, they tell their friend, and they can sit down. And not my energy, but I channel for them till they receive from me, and then in the morning, do the same thing, before we get out of bed and ask for a blessing days. And, when they get to the car and we ask Archangel Michael to guide you, front and back and left and right and bottom and top and surround you before you dry out. So I Jason didn't remember when he said, and okay, so that's what we said our day. Thank you, Jason. You remember it changing that good.
I guess I'm a good student, better than I thought I was.
I know, right?
And the funny thing is, these things that we're talking about, she's like, yeah, this is the stuff that I taught you. And I don't remember any of that. Like, I don't honestly, I went through these classes and become certified and everything like when Chow. And the thing is I left it alone after that. It was just something I did to say, oh, I accomplished this. I learned something new, but did I practice it? No, not at all. Until I finally got to a point where like, this world is not what it seems to be. I knew that. I've always known that things weren't as they appeared. Things weren't for the betterment of all. I did know that since I was a little kid. So I already came here with knowledge, knowing that things need to change. This world needs to change. So how that world changes is through you.
Yeah.
We're the puzzle pieces, guys. We're the puzzle pieces.
I'm still the corner piece.
Hey, whatever. That's awesome, man.
He's the most sturdiest corner piece.
You don't want to be missing, like, the middle of a forehead or something. Where the third eye is. That's where I am. I'm the piece where the third eye on the face.
I haven't touched mine tonight. I
noticed that. I kept trying to get your attention, but you
I
kept
saw
doing
you.
this.
They were like, "Don't fall for it! Don't fall for it!" Go ahead, Dennis. You're up.
What?
Top right
Was there
here.
a question?
Well, boy. Okay, jeez. Okay, what is in the coffee?
That's water.
What is
water?
That's
coffee beans.
Yes, I filter my water the same way with those coffee beans. It's amazing.
So you have tasting water. You have coffee tasting water.
Yes, but it filters the water. That's what I'm saying. I'm drinking more water.
Well, it has to be heated up too,
I haven't.
Well, I guess it doesn't have
coffee. Yet. So you're having coffee.
But anyway, Dennis, the question was, what is your notable that healing that helps you? You practice
my notable what?
Like, what have you done for healing? Like, what is something that you've done? Like, that's, like you said, a notable something. Like I had what I've done. Like, what is something that you've done
or for other people
to heal? Yeah, exactly.
I know you do a lot for other people, just in your words.
Well, I just do what I normally do, and then write on Facebook, I guess.
But is that
for me
yes.
personally? I don't even know how, to tell you the truth.
I think you do. You just don't realize you're doing it.
Exactly.
That's probably true.
Right. I will vouch for that. I will vouch for that.
I kind of feel though with you, Dennis, as well, that your writing is an outlet for you. So I feel like that's a way of you kind of just releasing things that you hold inside because you don't have a lot of people around to talk to. So I feel like this is a creative way. It's a creative way for you to release some of these traumas. Why you do it? That's what I feel. I feel you were a scribe, like you used to write a lot when you were in past lives as well.
I know. So I normally will probably get an idea and I'll start writing on it. And then all of a sudden,
write it all lifetime. I can see it. Yeah.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, you need to write again this lifetime. You need to do.
Lord. I don't know if I have that much money.
Ebooks. We'll go with ebooks this time.
Ebooks.
We'll
call it a manual.
I'd have to know how to do that.
Yeah.
We'll call it the Dennis manual with your quips and all the things that you like to put out there.
But Dennis, when time comes, money will come.
Absolutely.
You had to get to it and write it.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Now, how about you, Jay? Since you're the one that asked that question, that's something.
Yeah, Jay.
Okay. Hey, I'm not. I'm stepping into my energy.
It's like I'm not above the questions.
That's right. Honestly, I every morning, just like Jason says, I have to reel it in or what.
Right.
I'm a heart guy. Okay, so I have to put my feet down and kind of count to 30 before I get out of the bed. I'm one of those people. And in that just a little bit of 30 seconds, I automatically give thanks always. Thank you for the blessings coming to me into the day. But I think what has been most healing for me is pretty much Accept, well, one was accepting myself, my limitations,
Yeah.
and accepting. I'm almost into this point where I'm accepting what I'm receiving. This is healing for me. I'm starting to understand it. But I do really, what I think is overall healing is giving and helping. I don't know. I mean, that kind of sounds like a little bit of a cop-out answer, but it's true. It's, for me, it's satisfaction. For me, it is healing. It is wonderful.
Why the statement though? Why was this? That's what that comes back to what we started with in the beginning. Why that statement that you just made?
But the helping people, or
The one about you're second guessing what you're doing, basically.
well, actually, that's progress, because you know yourself that I have had a very hard time accepting what I've been given, because it's ego even though I'm humble, it is ego because I don't understand it.
Absolutely.
But I have hit a point where I get it now, and it really is, but it has to sink in. But at the same time, I get it. I understand that you can't be a braggadocious, you can't be a influential person, you can't be this larger than life person. I mean, there has to be a humility and humbleness about it. Otherwise, it'll be squandered. But no, it's the blessings are a healing also. I mean, there's a couple of things I can't share. I'm sorry, but it truly is a healing. And when I see people heal, and when I see people grow, when I see people understand, that is so enriching to me. I mean, it is, and even if it's not with me, just seeing that they're taking these steps, I can see that from a distance. I can feel it, I experience it, I can tell. It's a knowing, and there is something so wonderful about that. And I don't know how to describe it. I don't know how I know what I know. All I know is that the beauty of seeing people grow, accept, learn, stand into their energy, become one, like themselves. These are beautiful things for me.
Yeah.
It really is.
No, I mean, just for me, just for the growth I've seen in just a lot of people, even here, like even Dennis. I mean, just Dennis, just even him, just coming out and just talking, and just even getting out on here. And I know a lot of the moderators at first, none of them wanted to really come on camera. They never want to even be part of just out, and they just want to kind of be a fly on the wall to help and just kind of observe. But I feel like a lot of that was all fears of many. And I was kind of that way as well. Spirit was telling me for a while, you need to get out there. And I was like, no, I just don't want to do that. I just don't want to do that. And then literally it got to the point where one day it's like, they would not leave me alone. Like they just kept on me the whole time. Like, get it together, man. Get out there and stop being a little wuss. You've been fighting evil for many lifetimes. Now you're afraid of this. Come on, man. So that's what I feel like it was an aha moment for me. Like I probably was like, you know what? And once I was able to sit down, like things kind of just started clicking into place like pretty quickly for me. And I feel like that was universe's way of saying, see the fears that you went through and all the stuff that you went right past them. You moved past it and things worked out beautifully. So now I feel like when it comes to this, I mean, like there's so many more people. I'm like you, Jay, when I see things grow, that's always been I get a lot of satisfaction from that. I feel like I get the most satisfaction when I feel like I had a part to do with this beautiful growth.
You feel like you're walking with them when you experience that. It's even though I'm nowhere around and it's even nothing to do with that person. Yeah, I get something out of it. It truly is beautiful. I don't know.
My head has grown.
Pardon me?
My head has grown.
Oh, well, I look at, hey, what I say, not Hall & Oates, what is it, Daryl, John Oates? This is untaped. Look, as you can see, it's over my headset now. Yeah, you see that? Bringing back the 80s hair. It's terrible.
But even in some of the statements Jay was making at first, I mean, that comes back to fears. It's always fears. And that's also fear of losing control. And when I told Jay the first time I read for him, like he was a little bit taken aback by it. At first, he's like, "What? This makes no sense for me."
Yeah.
Like when I said, "You're a control freak," is what I kind of told him. You need to let go of things. And he was like, "I am the least controlling person." So that automatically ego was kicking in. I am the least controlling. When I said I am the least,
remember, I called you up. I was offended. I was like, dude, I am about, I mean, you could paint welcome on me. That's the kind of guy I am.
Right.
And then Jason said it. He's like, no, you're controlling you.
Yeah.
And I was
out of your own way.
Eye-opening. I was the limiter. I was the governor. I was the one stopping me. But I heard
You were the
controlling
one knocking on my door.
Knock
Late
3 times on the ceiling if you want me. Sorry, I had to throw that out there. Dennis posted some wild shit, some music. I do appreciate it.
That was the same thing. It comes back to even fear. It's like fear of letting go of the control. Because that's the thing is so here's the thing. The reason why that comes back to the fear of the outcome and what's going to be reciprocated towards us and a reaction. Whatever action happens, you're expecting a certain reaction. So that automatically it's a chain that happens before anything is even done.
Mm-hmm.
Like it comes back to the victory, like in the Art of War. The victory is already won before the first shot is fired. Because this plan, this thought, it's already been won. So I feel like that's the chain of events that we need to be better at. Like the outcome will happen if we step back and we've already won this battle before we even start the journey. So that tells me we have to become into alignment, let go of fear. Like it comes back to I'm always trying to open these gifts and I don't know how they may come to me, or I don't know, understand what's coming. Why am I getting these gifts? Like even Min Chao said that I'm just a regular person. Why am I being directed to do these things? Why am I having to write a book? Why am I the one? There's what's special about me.
Why me? Yeah, that's right.
David Wagner asked me the same thing the other day.
Mine's the opposite.
In a text. I know Joe's asked me he said those same words. Why me? But here's the reason why, what I get from spirit every time and in my soul, it resonates with every person I tell this to, is because you are pure in your soul. Now, are we perfect? No. But it tells me your intention is beautiful, of the light, and it's in alignment. It also tells me you're able to handle this type of responsibility. The dark has taken a lot of these things away purposely to manipulate it and use it for the bad. So the thing is, when this stuff starts to come back into the light, these good souled people with good intentions of the divine will help others with that. And it will be beautiful. So I feel like that's why when you say I'm just a regular guy, that's the reason why. You're a regular person, not there's a good intention. God knew when you came here and you agreed, like, I know what my journey is going to be like. He's like, I'm putting you out there. You're one of my soldiers. Go make it happen for me. I'll meet up with you at checkpoint Q.
Yeah, I believe like when what's right is right. Doesn't matter if I'm wrong. I can admit when I'm wrong, but it has to be right. I don't care if it's my own expense. What's right is right. True. There's an integrity about that. Yes. And I understand that is part of this. Yes. Jason and Tanya and Delphine talked me into this understanding, because it was kind of like me trying to learn Braille and I have no fingers. I couldn't understand it.
Yeah.
And I needed that kick in the ass, that get out of your own way, but at the same time, understand that just like I say, there's a domino effect. How could I not see this effect? Do you know what I mean? I had to grow at that moment. I had to realize, and that's just it. the acceptance of that. That's big for me. It's like, it's kind of like, okay, like say you're a person that's very prideful and you won't reach out to somebody no matter what. You'd rather chew your hand off than reach out to them.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't chew your hand off. Reach out to them because you're helping yourself and you're helping them.
Yeah.
For instance, with Jay though, like Jay was like the first person, like when I came on, like he's like, I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you. I want to hear I want to hear your voice. I want to hear what you're about. I want to feel your energy. I just don't want to type whatever you type on a screen. And at first I was like, when he called me, I was like, should I even answer this phone? I don't know this dude. This dude, I don't know. Why does he need to talk to me when I'm just going to be moderating a chat?
Creepy internet guy.
I'm so, the creepy internet man. I'm like, who is this guy? But you know what? He called me and something at first, it was my fear. That was a true story. Like, what does he want from me? Why does he? And that was my thought. And that's a true story. I'm not even, and I told Jay this. Like, I was like, at first, but then when I did, like, we connected right away. Like, it was like click, and it was like simpatico. So I was like, the stuff he would say, I'm like, dude, you're speaking to me. Like, I know what you're saying. And I would say the same thing. I understand what you're saying. Like, it was resonating with souls. Like, what we would speak the words, it was coming from a soul place.
It was like you talking to yourself in many respects, because that's just it. I want to hear, like, even though I didn't understand it, I got a pretty good bullshit detector. But what I didn't realize what I was doing was feeling you, understanding you. I bet I had to hear your words.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of times when I help people, I can't help someone like you do with cards over the internet. I have to hear them. I have to step into their energy. I have to, and it's just one of those things where, you got to build up a trust. I understand that. But once you open yourself just that little bit, there's something about how I can see. Like, I don't see the person. I really do see you, what's inside. I don't know how to explain that. But that's why I always tell people, I do see the inner, and to me it's beautiful. I don't see this, although I can't get past my own hair.
Well, you used to.
I used to. It was like Jason's. It was always a crew cut for 15, 20 years. It was like, now I can't cut it. But but it really was. I didn't understand that aspect of it, but yet that was actually built into my personality, just like it was Jason's. It's built into his personality. He's like, okay, I do want to hear this guy too, because I want to hear if he's bullshitting me in the same respect, because he's the consummate fighter. But when we realized just how, wow, dude, we're like, it's like cut off at the hip. Like, wow, we're speaking the same language.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was still, it's like, I think I'm doing something. I was doing something for the kids at the time, because I was very protective. But at the same time, I want to make sure that it's like, it's a good thing, that it's they're there not just for themselves.
Right.
I mean, you can sometimes see self, it screams out in some of the chats.
You get destined to meet, so the time, spirit will guide you to meet. It's how amazing, everything happened.
Yeah. Feedback. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's no coincidences why we're all here, and that's a true story. Like I said, we've all come together, and we've some people have pulled away from other energies and other channels and other things like that. Just in general, just people you've listened to. Even I know I've changed, just people I've listened to over the years and what I've read, and like your energy is pulling you in the direction for you to learn what you need to move away from that and to continue on your journey. So you're picking up bits and pieces from everywhere in this journey, and it's all what you pull into your energetic field. And what you release, as I told you, this all comes down to it, that it all starts with you, and we have to release fears, and we have to be more loving, self-loving. That's the one thing that I feel when it comes to the healing part, that I can't stress that enough, is we have to love ourselves. I feel we should be able to heal ourselves. In 99% of this, we should be able to heal most of the things we have. And I feel like ailments, whatever that may, and I also feel like there's a lot of things that are going to try to make us sick, tries to bring our energies down. All our environment is made that way to continually bring us down, because when our energetic vibration is so high, these ailments don't even affect us. I mean, the energy is too low vibration in order to even affect our energetic field. So I feel like as you just have to start believing. That's the first thing that Spirit just told me, the belief. People say, I believe, but do you believe?
You still had a fear to pull you away from it.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, yeah.
It's the believe. We say we believe. Up here, this tells us everything. I believe this because I've seen this. I believe this because this person told me this. I believe this because I feel that this. But do you really believe? Like if you were in front of me, and this is what I'm getting at. If God told you, like this, say we're stepping off a cliff. Let's say we're on the edge of a cliff, for instance. And God is sitting right in front of you. God's like, if you step off of this cliff,
I got you.
you will walk to me. If you believe. But if you do not believe, that step will lead to another result. And now for you, it's like you have to believe, if I'm going to take that step off the cliff, to believe, or what we think we believe. Because if you think and you believe and you take that step, you're still going to fall. If that makes any sense to anybody. Things have to come into alignment, spirit to mind to body. You have to believe in it all, that this is what the mission is. This is what you're supposed to do. This is, even if it's hard and you feel like, why me? Why me? I feel like that's the energy that I hear a lot of. Why me, God? Why am I having these things happen to me?
Why not me?
I know, yes. Yeah,
Exactly. Why not me? And honestly, that's what I feel like. That's the energy we need to pull in.
yeah.
I am ready.
I have a different way of doing things, I guess. All my life has always been, I believe, more in the intangible than I believe in the tangible.
Wow.
At the end, when I got the message at the end, I just said to myself exactly what you just said. Why not me? That's how the book started. I said, now wait a minute, why not me? You know what I'm saying? Because all the time I said, why me? Well, I'm so special. Why? People say, when do you know you are chosen? I say, chosen one. I'm not the chosen one. Why not to you? Why me? You know what I'm saying? I never thought anything, but then I say, why not me?
Yeah.
That's how the book. And I'm so excited when I said it. Why not me?
And that's good. See, and I was kind of the opposite. Like me being an athlete, growing up, and then going in the military, I was very tangible. Like I have to have clothes. Like I mentioned, things have to be closed. I have to close. I have to have some type of closure. So that comes to me. I had to see the tangible. I believed in the tangible more than the intangible. So that's where I feel like that was my change in alignment. Where I went to with Dennis, it's to focus on the intangibles. Those are things I can't control. The intangibles, those are things that just appear, happen, because that's part of what needs to happen. No matter how you look at it, it was meant to happen. You can't control that. You can only control what your reaction and what the things you do. But that's for sure. I feel like that was a beautiful statement. See, very few words, but it's very thought-provoking, and it changes even how I was thinking for the moment. So I really appreciate that's what I mean. We learn from each other just from simple few words. Made me think something totally different of what I was thinking. That's the purpose of our group, is to help.
Here's we'll give you
each other always. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Give you something to think about. One of the biggest things that they sell in this world is love. Everything's about caring. Everything's about, do your part and all this other stuff. But it's something you have to experience. It can't be bought. It can't be held. It can't be tangible. It can only be felt, smelled, and experienced. And if you don't believe that that's a gift of the divine, how do you not believe? I mean, just belief in itself, love is possibly quite hard, the hardest thing to believe, but yet we all feel it.
So Spirit just says, once you once you believe, you fully believe. Once you fully believe,
That happened. The thing happened.
you will become calm.
Mhm.
That's where I feel like I'm getting so many goosebumps right now. I feel like Spirit is telling me so much for you guys from my heart that says, once you fully believe, not what we say, I believe, I am healing. No, those are just, everything is intention.
You have to know
So
it.
you already have to project that we've already won. You've already healed. You're already becoming into alignment. And they're telling me right now, that's love. I have so many goosebumps on my arm. So it tells me that's what it comes down to. It's belief. Take that step off the cliff. And once you're not afraid and you fully believe, I mean, everything comes into alignment with belief in your soul, then you will be calm.
Jason, do you have that picture of the tree I sent you?
Yes, I do. And thank you, Sunflower, for the super sticker, super chat. It's awesome. Thank you very much. Much light and love for you guys who pop in.
Can you
And
throw that on the screen? Is that by chance? Can you throw that on the screen?
let me see if I can.
If I take a step off the cliff, I'm flopping my arms as fast as I can.
I have to see.
I
Send
believe
me a
that.
text.
Yeah.
Let me send it to my computer. No, I'm just gonna put it up, see if you can see it. So I don't know if you guys are able to see. Let me see if I can turn it.
A tree.
Yeah.
So this is a tree that Joe can tell you. If you can see the difference, there's a difference in the tree. If you can see it.
One half is alive, the other half died.
Yes.
And
So you can
I
see
had
the green
Yeah.
over here where it's alive, and then the dark where it's not. So this is physical proof. And I'm going to let Jay talk, because this is about healing. I want Jay to kind of explain something for you guys about how powerful intention and belief is. I'll let you take it away. For people who want to be a show me moment, that's a show me moment.
Yeah, I was trying to heal myself so I could help others. I understood I was getting these gifts, but I'm a beat up, busted up body. I said, just, heal me a little bit better so that I can maybe do what I'm intended to do. And the tree literally was like, called to me. And now I'm sitting there thinking, okay, this is out there,
Right.
The tree's going to heal me. But when I got to the tree, I started to believe that it was possible. I put my hand on this one large trunk of the tree, which was half the tree. And I said, if this is meant to be, heal me what you will. And, it was almost a belief factor for me. It was like, I believed that it could, but part of me was skeptical.
Yeah.
Within 3 days, the leaves started turning. By the 5th day, all the leaves were brown on that one side that I touched. Sorry, can't make that stuff up. And I had people come and look at the tree, and they're like, it's like it went dormant. And it was just the oddest thing. But if that was something that really stepped me into believing, because we're all part of God, even everything around us.
How did you
And
feel afterward?
I got to tell you, as the tree started fading, the leaves, I started feeling good. I mean, I've said before, I was noticeably taller than my wife
That's what I was
by a
just
couple
saying.
inches. I mean, like I straightened up. I mean, my spine is an S.
Yeah.
It's not as bad now. You can't rationalize that.
Yeah.
I mean, I have more feeling in my legs. And if you saw a nerve study on me, it almost looks like I'm a paraplegic because there's next to no connections. That's where the term stomping horse came from, because when I would walk, I would thump the ground because I could feel pressure. I just couldn't feel. I'd get cut on my legs. I'd be bleeding. I'd have no clue. But now I can semi-feel. There's no other way to explain that. Now, most people might have gotten greedy and said, oh, I got to get me more of that. I felt horrible for the tree. I felt horrible. And those were the leaves that kind of looked like they died. They were the last leaves. In fact, they're still on the tree, a good half of them. The healthy side, all the leaves fell off the tree.
Mhm.
I'd say a good half of the dead leaves are still on the tree right now, because like the tree guy said, they went dormant.
Wow.
I can't explain that, but that's
Transfer energy.
that's a little bit too coincidental. If you can't see that as something special, your heart's not open.
Chuck, if you have a tree stump, in your yard,
Mhm.
sit on your tree stump.
Yeah, that really ground.
It will help ground you very well, and it will help you. And I know that you have some things. I feel like that's if you have a tree stump, even a tree. If you're not, even if it's cold in the wintertime, go outside and put your hand on the tree. I mean, it's still alive. It's a little dormant, but the energy is still there. So,
Yeah.
like, even my wife got a calling the other day. She's like, I have to go see my mother, and she talks about the woods. That's her mother. So she goes there and she talks to them, and that's what my wife does. My wife she's been in the woods and she's touched trees and healed herself. I mean, literally pain. She has same thing, multiple back surgeries with fusions, and she has a stimulator in her back and all that stuff. She turned that stimulator off a year ago, and she used to not even be able to function without being constant pain with unless the stimulator kept it vibrating to keep the pain away. We working on it and healing and things like that and working on stuff herself, and now she hasn't had that thing on for a year. That's a true story.
Mhm.
That's something that I'm very thankful for. Well, she started to work on it. She started to go. She does her thing. She goes and picks mushrooms in the woods, and that's her way of connecting to healing things, because it calls her. So I mean, something that means her spirit does this. That means whatever your spirit does. I mean, even just touching the tree, because everything is connected energetically. The grass, the ground, the air, the water, your energy, the leaves,
I had goosebumps.
everything
Yeah.
is connected. So that means that we are exchanging energy, even just being around each other, so that we
What kind
can
of mushroom?
I am down. And think about the roots of your tree.
Magic.
The roots of the tree they communicate with all the trees around them and the grass and everything with roots, and they talk to each other.
Moving
True.
trees things. The moving
That's
trees. Yeah,
right.
that was pretty incredible.
Seriously, like even behind my house there, I can see when the trees wave to you. Like there'll be times that you'll see trees waving to you. That's just, even if you don't either, it's just the wind. But just sometimes you'll notice it and your spirit will say, wow,
Yeah.
that was
And if you
amazing.
pick
Thank
their
you.
apples too soon, they'll slap your hand.
I had to carry this when I walk to the forest so they can communicate with me. These stone.
Your
Yeah.
crystal.
The crystal, yeah, so they communicate with me.
Yeah.
And I weird why they have to.
Oh yeah, and living.
What?
I lean on a tree in my backyard when I sun gaze and meditate. Remember my reading, Jason? You kept saying I keep getting trees. I like touching trees.
Yeah, hug the tree. That's very good too.
So honestly, and living, I don't really remember much of my readings. That's a true story. I have a very photographic memory when it comes to reading things and comprehending things, but that's a gift of mine as well. But when it comes to channeling spirits, I don't remember. Like I might remember very little things. Like, oh, I remember that card possibly on another reading. That's it. Because then the spirit tells me, pay attention, because this is, I'll get like alerts almost like this, pay attention. This is something that's come up before. Other than that, I get it and I dump it, because it's so much information that I get. I have to dump it, or I'm just going to be in the mental ward.
It's not your burden. Yeah, it's not your burden.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's why I release it every time.
that's why I tell people these things come with a little bit of a burden. There's an effect on us, and we can't wash them all away, but we do our best. But that's just it. It's the tree thing. Like, they showed me that if I want more or when I need more, I'm to go next to a pine, and I'll know which one, because it'll talk to me. Yeah, it sounds nuts, but it actually does. You'll catch it. I talk to my tree a lot when I'm just outside. It's a communication. I thank it every day for how I feel, because I don't experience pain anymore. Discomfort, yes. Tired, yes.
Yeah, of
But
course.
pain is, it's not something I understand. It's something you get used to. I still kind of grunt and groan, but I don't notice the pain any longer. I mean, I got the flexibility of an I-beam, I don't bend well. But it's just one of those things where that was enough for me, and I was thankful. I didn't, I don't want to go, oh, give me more of that. That was a blessing and a half. Hey, I'm good. I mean, I don't want to push my luck. Do you know what I mean? Like, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be.
Yeah.
But that was a belief that, I did believe, but then it actually happened, and it was like,
Yeah.
a mind screw,
Yeah.
except use the F word, it was blown, blown. Just, yeah. What, did Dennis leave or
No,
no?
I think he's
He's
finished.
just gone. He's just okay.
He's finished his coffee. Yeah.
Okay.
He's getting his coffee going. But no, I agree with that. And it comes back to the doubts. We keep having the same we have all these conversations, but it comes back to control and fear and closing these things. So once, like I said, once you let go, you close that loop and you open yourself to progress. So you have to close loops, energetic loops. I know, like, if you're a science person or even a mechanical engineering person, that should make sense to you. If it's more, if you're trying to connect from an analytical portion of your brain to your spiritual side, those are cycles. Those are things you must complete. So if you're asking, once again, like, why do I keep having these same experiences? Why am I always poor or broke? Why am I having? Why I keep losing my jobs? Why do I keep meeting assholes? Those are common things that I see people have. It's because those are energetic things that you need to move past, or you have when like she said, like what Min Chao said, sometimes spirit intervenes and said, this is not the right path for you. And then they'll do things harshly for you to move on.
Yeah.
Even if it's a slap in the face.
Yeah, when
Would you
they
say that?
intervene, it's gonna be rough road, and they mean it. When they intervene, they mean business, because they feel like I give you enough time, you didn't do it, so they have to cut off everything to move you on move forward. When that's how one of my students say the bad thing is a demon, the good thing is not true. They're one man. Like a parent do, discipline you and then ease up a certain time. I'm saying the same thing when they intervene. They no other way, they will cut off everything. Trust me, I've been there and I know. I did know, and everything meant to happen and you don't want it.
Right.
They give you a certain amount of time. They told me, okay, you have 1 year after the book and do, so that I didn't. So yeah, they intervene. You got to do this, like no other choice. They kick your butt. Trust me, I know. So
It's true story. And the reason why, here's the reason why spirit kicks your butt. It's because you have a divine purpose of the light. And when you're not meeting this, or where you're going way too far off path toward the dark or towards the wrong path, they're going to stop what they're doing. It's going to be harsh, and you're going to think it's the worst thing that's ever happened to you. But you're going to come on the other side and be like, wow, you're going to learn something later on in life. When things awaken, you kind of release this information of this energy, because that's why they redirect you. Like she mentioned, it's like you're going too far off. I don't want to lose this beautiful light of soul of light to the darkness, because that's where you're going to go. You either have to make the right decisions or the wrong decisions. And I feel like that's part of the thing. Even if it's not a dark decision, it may be the wrong thing. The more we lead down the wrong, or when our path is off, we'll continue on and we'll keep stumbling. Like what Dennis said, we'll keep that downward fall and keep going.
It depends on how hard-headed you are.
Yeah, but they give you a certain amount of time and they will redirect you, and they never fail. And I know sometimes you because you humans, sometimes you're stubborn, you think you can do better.
Those harsh those
What?
hard stops, those harsh resets, I call those the humblers.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do. That is when you get humbled to the point of you think all was lost. And that to me is the humbler, but nothing, but only greatness comes out of that humbler.
Yeah.
True story.
I got humbled real early in my life.
Same here.
Yeah.
Same here, man. I was humbled. That's what made me I think work, it almost, and I think that made me overcompensate. I feel a lot because I was so like I was smashed down basically as a child in different ways, and I feel like I wasn't able to fully express myself. I got in trouble for that. I mean, there's a lot of things that I was held back and told that like basically I wasn't good enough from the father figure of mine, all that stuff. So I feel like I overcompensated. I always had to work. I was trying to please something that I was never going to be able to please,
Mhm.
which was I had to please myself. And I feel like that was the thing is I always tried to, I was afraid of failure. I was afraid of failure. And I know we're all afraid of failure because that's what we've been programmed to be. And there's no such thing as failure.
Yeah.
Like
Used
someone
to
said,
be.
I'm failed. I failed you. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. That's not the case. That's just how the journey played out for you to learn from and the others around you.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it was a shitty situation, they learned something from that situation.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you were brought together for you all to learn something from these experiences.
And usually when you come out of that, you ought to sit there and go, bring me something else because there's growth in that. There's growth in that. Bring it to me because it can't be harder than that. Yeah, it can't be harder than that. What's the old biblical phrase? I've walked through the valley of death. And come on, well, you can't do any worse to me. Bring it.
And the funny thing is, that's you say that like yea, though walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I'll fear no evil. When I say those words, I really 100% mean it because I've helped people transition over. I've removed demons. I've also helped people pass over and die, into the light. So I feel like this is things I've been in. My wife as well. We've been in the valley of the shadow of death many of times with people and energies around. And I feel like this is something that we are energetically for this reason. Don't be afraid. There's people who are afraid. There's afraid if I let go of this control, even though things are going to happen, even if you think you control them, they're still going to happen. So the thing is you need to release because what that does is releasing the control, even though they're going to happen anyway, it releases the fear that comes along with the control of not being enough or not, things aren't working out. The expectation, as I mentioned, talked about previous times. We have an expectation we put out.
Yep.
Things don't happen that way. Our ego gets involved and we get disappointed. Then we have to try to compensate to make that better or complete what we didn't make. So that's just our ego's way of saying, you know what, that wasn't enough. Got to be better. Got to do better. Got to do better. And what our spirit is saying is you're enough. Love yourself. Connect with yourself. Spirit will say, you know what, they send me so much love when I'm in that better place instead of being the controller that I am. And I used to hate, like me, even driving, somebody else driving a car and I'm a passenger, it bothers me because I can't control what they're doing. I'm like, okay, that's a true story for me. Those I'm learning is like, okay, if it's my time to die in this accident with them, then that's what I agreed to. Same thing in the ocean when we went for our vacation. I'm like, if I agreed to come down to this planet and say I was going to be eaten by a shark and be part of and become shark shit, then that was what I said. You know what, God, that seems like the way to go. I think I'll go that way.
Yeah.
That's why without any pain.
He tells you way out what will happen.
Exactly. We choose our way out when we come here. So whatever it is meant to be. So that brings me to peace again. Like I said, once you're in peace, and I fully believe, which it took me some time to fully believe and let go of. I don't care what people think. I don't care what people say.
Mm-hmm.
Is this a work in progress for me? Yes, it still is a work in progress. But the old part of me where it just be like, quick, flip out, quick, trigger. That's why I said we have to work on our triggers because there's a reason why there's a trigger for you.
I want to throw out one more thing, kind of healing the. I look at our spirit, okay, as the armor of God. Okay, the spark, the God spark within us, our spirit, our soul. Not the stone, not the shielding. And it is my belief. I believe in it wholeheartedly, like Jason just said. I haven't been spiritually attacked. I haven't felt any next to negative impulses or thoughts since I've been pulling that spirit. I've been trying to mesh my spirit self with my conscious self. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just bringing my spirit into my everyday life.
Yeah.
Because I had mentioned before, we always say mind, body, spirit. We put spirit last. So I've been trying to put spirit forward, spirit first. And since I've done that, I've felt the growth. I haven't been attacked. And I truly believe, because it's my faith within the Creator, God, however you want to look at it. But and I'm not saying I can't be hurt, but if something's going to attack me, it's a badass. It's an evil SOB, because my faith is strong, and I haven't been sick, and there's many things I haven't, and I can only attune that to this. I mean, my wife, after, she was forced for her job to have I never knew my wife to be sick. Then she got COVID after that. I hugged and kissed her every day for 2 weeks. I didn't get it. Now, did I take protocols, the vitamin D's, all those? Yeah. But I really attribute it to my faith of having that armor. I really do.
Yeah.
Just, like I said, it's just, even like I've even said, even just cutting up vegetables. I bring my spirit into my everyday, mundane, whatever I'm doing life, and it seems to be working.
Same here. And I agree, that resonated so much with me. Like, same thing, like my water, even when I pour it into the filter, like with Dennis, I see Dennis has one.
The coffee grind filter.
Yeah.
The coffee grind, yes.
And I do that, but even like my water, I say thank you, I love you, and I say that same thank you, I love you to my
Thank
food.
you, coffee. I love you.
I'm serious, because the vibration I'm putting out is loving and healing.
Mhm.
So it changes the frequencies of your food. It changes the frequencies of your water, and believe that, because your intention is put out. So it's more nourishing, because when you put that out and you say I love you, it attunes to your energy.
Mhm.
So it becomes more healing for you. And I don't know why I feel very strongly, because what that does is bring things into alignment, as Jay said.
Mm-hmm.
Spirit, mind, body.
Right.
And it's been the opposite. We've been taught the opposite. We're leave spirit last. And that's the furthest. We should be spirit first. Everything you do, mention. Thank you for
you don't hear that anywhere. You don't hear that anywhere. And it's just something I did. I was guided. But also on that same thing about the water, I garden. I can only tell you that my wife is a gardener. We both talk to the plants. We both give our intent. And I got to tell you, my tomatoes, it's my neighbors think I have magic plants back there, because 8 plants probably produced well over 800 plus tomatoes this year. That's unheard of.
Oh, they're beautiful. I thought your garden was beautiful.
Yeah, but I mean the amount
I do that too.
Tomatoes, it's amazing. And that has been scientifically proven, what you said about the water, the intent, talking to it, just giving it love. That's not bullshit. That is, we can prove that scientifically, but yet the belief, I think, is what is the magic.
That's what it comes down to, is the belief. We talked about, we're here at the edge, guys. We're at the cliff. We're at the cliff moment. And God has called you. It says, if you step forward with full belief, you're gonna you'll glide to me. But if you step off this cliff and have any doubt, then you will have to take another path.
Like walking on water.
True story. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's true. You have to fully believe in what's going on. Believe. That's where the healing starts, guys. Believe you want to heal. Believe you want to accomplish things. Believe this is going to be a new future for you. Believe you're already healed. Believe you're already abundant. And really believe that this is really happening. Now with what our mind say, I know I can do this. I know I can do this. I know I can do this. It's literally saying, I have to believe this from your heart. Your heart. So when we do my healing, you see, when I pull energy in, I make you bring in something that brings a smile to your face. Something that brings a good, because what that does is that heart that's closed off, because of the world tells you to close it off. When you bring that smile in, that heart starts to open like a lotus flower. That's where the healing starts, because we have to open in order to have this energy flow through us and to release these things that no longer serve us or do not belong. And that's where I feel like it really starts, is the full belief.
I was dead tired before this show started. I dead tired. I was at a restaurant and it didn't agree with me. I'll be the first one to tell you that. And that takes a lot out of me. I am wide awake right now. Every time we do these shows.
You're welcome.
It's just one of these. It's the chat. It's us. It's the energy.
Yes.
But I mean, I
Special.
was like, yeah. And I mean, it's amazing to me. It's like a renewal every time.
Absolutely. Like I said, guys, I know we've been going about 2 hours and 5 minutes. I'm going to kind of go around. We're going to kind of wrap it up here. So I know a lot of people have some things to do, and I need to go eat some dinner myself.
I'm still good for 3 hours.
Can I
Not 5.
I'm going to let I'll let Min Chow kind of start, since she's kind of here, and then we'll kind of go around for last things, and then we'll kind of wrap it up, guys.
Last time I was here, I offered the healing, the help when you sit down and tap into my energy, and when you had a bad day or you need something to help you. And this today, we're talking about healing. We have a lot of problem go through us, and on different issue, different day, different thing happen. So whatever happened, you can be anywhere and put 10 fingers together. Okay. And then you can ask for the energy that from me that I channel for you to help to clear out all the negativity and bring you back to your balance, a balance. And also you can use this, you can do this and put your hand on your heart, okay? And make the circle around you. Just pretend you see that you something that you want to pick it up and throw it away. Just you do this clockwise, and do it 3 times to ask them to remove all the hassle, all this thing that make you sad, suffering out of your body, and to move to the heart, and then to ask to bring your body back to balance. And then to meditate for a couple of minutes. I hope you remember that. And it will help you a lot. And, yeah. Because you remove certain thing out of your heart will help to heal you, to help to open up on the the thing that bring back the sense to you, like bring back the joy and love, because you to move out on the negativity. That makes sense. So that I taught my students like that. It really help you every day. You can do 10 times a day with that. I mean, whatever you need. If somebody at work, somebody yell at you, make you mad, and you can go to the bathroom and do that, and come on, and make you feel better. You let me know, send feedback to see how you feel if you do that. Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. How about you, Mr. Dennis? Is there anything you want to leave the group with before we go?
Yeah, I just want to say that live for the moment. Forget the past. Don't focus on the future. Just live the moment.
Moment, as the Buddha said.
Yes. Awesome advice there, Dennis. That's priceless advice for people. That's a true story.
Very, very well said, but I think much needed.
That's a Buddha.
Well done, Dennis.
I wonder if I was Buddha in the past life.
What's that?
I wonder if I was Buddha in the past life.
I wouldn't doubt it.
It's possible.
You're Buddhist monk, I guarantee you that you could be. And you're also a writer.
I honestly think these gifts are leading us towards some form of enlightenment. I do, whether it's collective or individual.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But no, Dennis said it perfectly. I'm going to leave it at that. That was beautiful.
Absolutely. So before we go, guys, like I said, we're going to do a quick little healing, but just wanted to mention again for some of you guys who may want to get into the healing. Min Chai actually talked, and I talked again today, and Spirit led us a little bit more that we're going to do energy healings and classes starting probably in February. And we're going to start to put up a link for people to sign up who may be interested. And just so you know, we're going to drop the price from $750 to $600, and you can still bring somebody. with you.
That's cool.
So
That's
a 2-for-1 for any of you guys.
2
So
for 1.
the reason why we want to pull as many people as we can to start to learn how to heal, how to channel energies, start to work on these things. I know a lot of you guys, I feel like the more the attunements they come and the more you work on these things, a lot of you guys will start to literally channel spirit more. You guys will pick up things. You'll be able to start to heal. Things will start to come more into alignment. And I feel like having somebody you bring along in your journey with you is even more powerful. So I feel like that's the reason why, you know, and you'll get a certificate, all that stuff that says, and you're going to learn how to be a Reiki healer. You're going to do Kundalini and you're going to do pranic healing. So you're going to get combined all three of those
3 modalities.
3 modalities of healing. You're going to get them all, and all the energies that are channeled that we have. So, and I feel like for people who've even had healing from me, like most of the people haven't come back. They've gotten something beautiful, or the people that have come back, there've been a few that have come back the second time. It's even better for them because they start to work on these things. And I feel like this is why our job is to try to expand as much knowledge as we can. And I feel like that's something, if you guys are interested, if you are, then you can hit me up in an email, SOULdier of Light, SOULdier of Light 786 at gmail.com. So SOULdier, the regular way you spell it, of Light 786 at Gmail. And just hit me up, see if you guys are interested. I'll put some more things up, but we'll have something to sign up for it this coming month if you guys are interested. So it'll be a great experience for a lot of you guys. And I'm not trying to sell a product. It's not what this is about. This is just telling me I feel like I've gotten so much benefit from this. And I'm not the type that's going to bullshit people from a place of integrity. If all of you who know me I'm telling you something from a pure place that I feel you'll get many, many, many different beautiful things in alignment for if you do choose to do this. Doesn't say you have to, but just an option. And we will do more of this moving forward as well. It's just her and I kind of getting together, but I feel like we have a huge soul family that has special gifts that will be attuned and will open more is what I feel for you guys. And I want you guys to be the superstars. You guys are all meant to be. Okay. That's why we're all together. There's a reason why we have a group, as small as it is or as big as it is, whatever it's going to grow. But they're holding it down for a reason, because either from the light, I feel the light is intervening with this too.
Okay, we only have like right now 66 in chat, but yet you get 1,500 views by the next day, right? And only 10 comments.
Exactly.
Sorry, I don't buy that. I don't buy that whatsoever. I'm sorry, that's not even close to a minimum.
Yeah,
like not even like 1/10 of 1/10. That's suppression. For sure.
Well, I mean, just for instance, this week I've lost 20 some viewers, 20 some subscribers. So I mean, it's been every week. I mean, I'm gaining them, and then they pull them from me, and then they keep me like they don't want me to get to a certain number. I know that. I don't know what that means. An algorithm thing kicks in or what, because they've kept me at a certain level and they keep dropping it below. I get way above that, they drop me back down to that same level. So I don't know what that even means. I'm just saying in general. I know that the reason why they don't want us to come together because of this, I feel like we're gonna just overwhelm this darkness. That's what they're afraid of. They're afraid, and they should be. And I'm saying that with love, they should be afraid.
They can slow you down. They can stop you. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly right. And it's going to happen.
When I think I'm out, they keep dragging me back in.
That's right. It's like the Godfather. Exactly. But no, guys, awesome. What I'll do, like I said, Min Chao's book, if you guys are interested too, you want it, it's in the description of my video here. It's good to kind of look over if you are interested in doing the healing. She describes a lot of like things that she's done. Also, some of the energies that we channel when we do our healing. So it's just kind of get a good overview, so you can kind of refer back to it if need be moving forward. But I just feel like I said, beautiful, beautiful souls. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. I'll see you guys tomorrow for another live reading. And I really apologize for the people who were involved. Hopefully, I know I went through, it took me till 2-something in the morning to get all those questions answered for everybody. But that's just how I am. I work for people. Like if you're going to bring me something from energy, because you want something, if you ask me energetically, that's an energetic exchange.
Mhm.
You're asking me to help you, and I'm helping you. So I feel like when you've given me something in return for my time, I'm going to reciprocate that and give you the same energy that I give you if you donate me for a $3 question or if you pay $10 for the question. I don't care about that. It's just I'm trying to help. So I want you guys to know that. Thank you guys. It's the integrity part that all of us struggle with a lot of times when we have to do things that maybe are hard or difficult. That's where we grow the most. Keep pushing through, keep doing the right thing, even when it's hard. That's what I always told people. I've always told my kids that. I always told the people I've coached, even myself. I coach myself sometimes. That's something I think we all need to do is coach ourselves up.
Mhm.
Man, you're awesome. You can do this. Don't give up. Don't quit.
Get out there.
People say that you can't do this. That's where you grow because you're overcoming these. Instead of hiding in the corner with fear and doubt, you push past. And I feel like that's where a lot of this needs to start. Release these things you've been holding on to, even if they're fearful for you to say them or release them, no matter who it involves. No matter who it involves. Because I feel a lot of you are holding things back from your spouses. I feel like a lot of you are holding things back from your parents. I feel like a lot of things are being held back from boyfriends and girlfriends. I mean, things that you know that if you said this, you're afraid of what the consequence will be. They're going to break up with me. They're going to go. That's what I feel a lot of you are having these issues, that you're holding on to something you need to let go of. And when you do that, your peace will just overflow you with warmth and comfort.
Please excuse Joe for being a shaman. Writing a note down now. Okay, good.
Seriously, guys. So
Signed, Jason Ramirez.
stay high vibe, guys, even when
I
it's hard.
love it. I love it. No, well said. Well said. Thank you all.
High five. All right, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. I love you all, and thank
Yeah,
you,
thank
Sunflower,
you.
for the other super sticker you guys have sent in. Much
Anytime.
love.
Thank you, Dennis. Love you.
And do you
Soldier of light out.
Bye.